How many of you would say you are your best friend? When you list those best friends, those people that have your back, that would pretty much do anything for you, that if you needed someone to talk to, they would listen, actively listen to you. They would confirm you. They will approve, confirm that you are valuable, that you are a living asset, that you have gifts and talents to express. And those gifts and talents are often used to help you heal from the inside out. How many of you would say, I am wonderful, I am smart, I'm intelligent, I am creative, I deserve to be happy, I deserve to have fun, I deserve to forgive, because you know that holding on to grudges and constantly remembering what someone did or didn't do does more harm to you than it does to the other person. How many of you can say, I love myself? I love myself as I am, that I am good enough, that I not only deserve to heal from the inside out, I can help others do the same. Even those that projected their pain on me. Because when we talk about creating a generational love cycle, we have key virtues that come to mind. Compassion, that we often see when people do act outside of themselves, when they project pain on us, that is pain that they've been dealing with forever how long, that we have not walked in their shoes and we don't know if we would have or wouldn't have done the same thing. Do we really know that? That we know that, unfortunately, for some, they don't know how to heal their pain. And unfortunately, for some, they share it with others because they want people to know often how much they are hurting inside, a cry for help, a plea for help. When we create a generational love cycle, because this is what this podcast is about, we get rid of the thoughts. We replace those harmful thoughts with positive thoughts, with helpful thoughts. Things that are not only can help us, thoughts that not only can help us heal, but help others heal. That we understand that what someone does to us, they've already done to themselves. They've already hurt themselves. And that it's not personal. And often we take the impersonal personal. We think it is a degrading of ourselves when someone does something to us, when they violate our rights, our freedom to be who we want to be, to do what we want to do it when we feel like we are ready to do it. That we feel like we are that experience. We must be dirty. We must be filthy. We and we have those thoughts and we go down these paths that we often consider detours. But remember, even detours teach. They often, every experience for me, for what I believe, is to remind us of who we are, the indestructible spirit that we have inside of us. We are more than just our flesh. Everything we need is inside of us. Compassion, forgiveness, truth, trust, patience. To be able to learn from experiences and to do better the next time, treating others how we want to be treated, breaking that cycle of pain by saying it stops here, it stops now. I will not carry this on to the next. I will not carry feeling dirty because of what someone else did. I will do the work that I'm here to do, and that is being in all its form and everything we do, and being a representation of the truth and expressing our divine gifts and talents and showing love and showing compassion and seeing the pain in them and refusing to take on that pain and internalizing it. Because often, if we say that we are not good enough, if we are um, dirty, if we are not strong enough to handle our emotions and our feelings, we have adopted or internalized some message that we often get from the world, from the people that we are around, that we see, that we believe that because they have gone through this, experience this, that we should also. I remember I've shared, I believe, in a podcast or a video that what I experienced as a child, the misuse of my body, that initially I did not label it because I'd found out at a very early age that whatever I say about myself, that words have meaning, that words can become fruition. If you believe that you're dirty, you're going to often act as though you are dirty. You're often going to be in situations that confirm your thought that you're dirty. Versus if you believe you deserve respect, you're going to often put yourself in situations that confirm you deserve respect versus those that do not. You're more mindful of your actions and your environments, but only if you believe that is such. So I didn't label my experience as abuse, sexual abuse, or what have you. And I didn't really find out much more about that until I was in my 20s. That I went on with my life still believing I deserve respect, still believing that to preserve my body, that just because someone else misused my body didn't mean I had to misuse it. Didn't mean that I have to become a misuser. Are you understanding where I'm coming from? That often what we think about, what we think we are as a result of what someone did or didn't do, continues to feed that cycle in us. And we often pass it along to our children in many ways. Because we're still thinking, we're still nursing our wounds, that sometimes we're not there for others to prevent them from going through the same thing. We don't see the cues. We don't hear them because there's so much pain that we have not yet dealt with. There's so much inner hatred and outer hatred towards ourselves, often towards others, especially those that didn't do what we wanted them to do, what we felt was in their position to do. And I've shared before that when people are in pain and they're experiencing their pain, often they can't see outside of those windows. They can't see someone else going through. So when we say, well, my mother wasn't there to stop it, or my father wasn't there to stop it, if your mother or father was dealing with something themselves, it made them, they were not present enough because they were in the past. They were not present enough to be there for you. Is it their fault, or is it this generational cycle? Responsibility is responsibility, but when we start blaming others, we just add more to this blaming cycle. And then when we focus on responsibility, I am going to be more responsible for my life and for my children's life because I've been there. I want to be more awake. I want to be more involved in their lives. So I need to heal myself. I need to address the pain that is in me and realize that no experience defines me, and no child, because many of what we're dealing with as adults often stem from our childhood. The insecurities, the feeling dirty, the not good enough, struggling to love yourself, struggling with anxiety and fears often stem from a very susceptible time in our lives, our childhood, when our brain is growing and we're trying to make sense of all this that's going on. You've heard, our theorists, Erickson, and developmental stages and the psychosocial development, how we go through certain things, mistrust versus mistrust, and, identity versus role confusion, and Piaget, and all these other theorists that say basically our childhood is a very susceptible time. And so you're never the fault of what an adult did or didn't do. Never. Because as an adult, as an evolved brain, as we should evolve throughout time, as an adult, we should be able to consciously think about what we're doing and what we're not doing. We are more responsible. Our brain is older. And unfortunately, when we don't pay attention, when we don't address what it is that's going with us, that mental evolving is put on halt in a certain form or aspect because we're not seeing the bigger picture. We're so focused on what we experienced versus seeing the bigger picture and saying, hey, I'm going to be what I need to be because I know what it feels like and I don't want anybody else to go through it. I'm going to keep my identity, which is love, which is compassion, which is forgiveness. And I'm going to be the role model. I'm going to be what I didn't have, to myself first and to others. I know what it's like to think less of yourself, but I also know the other side, the light that is in me that tells me I am greater than what I experience. And that struggle is the internal struggle in realizing and coming to a awakening of not taking the impersonal personal, of seeing that that is something that belongs to them and not to me, of seeing that I have a choice in how I perceive my experiences, and saying that I do not have to be a statistic. I do not have to struggle with anxiety, depression, with illness because I feel guilty about myself. That I can make the best of this lifetime because I deserve it. I deserve it. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have the things that complement who I am, to be around the people, the environment. I've left people because I felt like they were not on the same road that I was on. And I don't force my children to hug and to, kiss other people, family members, and friends. I don't force them to do that. What I do encourage them is that you have a right. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, don't do it. And that is about learning from your experience and using it for greater good, breaking the cycle of pain by creating a generational cycle of love. Well, how? Because you're encouraging them that they have rights, they have freedoms to listen to their inner gut, their intuition, that they don't have to do anything that is uncomfortable. Teaching them virtues, teaching them how to respect themselves, to be private, and to, it's okay if there are things they don't want to share or want to do with others. And I always tell my children that, what I told you, that what an adult does is never, never their fault. So I think it's about, reassessing this year, new year, every day, reassessing those thoughts and how you feel about yourself. Journaling is a very good way of, often we have so much stuff that is kept in our brain, in our body, this information overload that we're many of us are on, all of this data that keeps coming to us, people saying things, doing things. And often we have to put it on paper, bring it outside of ourselves, because often we see it better for what it is. And then we can look at that information and say, is this true about me? Is this really true? What data do I have to confirm it? Because if it is that's because someone projected their pain on you, that is not confirming data that you are dirty or stupid. That is their data, not yours. So I'm back. I hope you've had a great new year. Uh, and I hope you will continue to have a spiritual awakening, that you see yourself for who you truly are, that you start thinking about those things that you love to do, those gifts and talents that you have that can not only heal you, but to help heal others, to remind people of the good that is in them, the good that is in you, the divine nature that is in you. Because we all often have our moments of loss, getting off the beaten path and going down roads that often do not complement who we are, but they are there to teach us, to confirm that we are greater than what we thought we were. So this is Create a Generational Love Cycle with Tamika Chambers. Like I said, Happy New Year. I hope you have a fantastic new year, and that you will listen more to Create a Generational Love Cycle. Feel free to provide feedback. I'm on WordPress. I usually put my episodes on WordPress, as well as on Medium and other social media sites. Feel free to respond, and I look forward to hearing from you. And may you break the cycle of pain by realizing you deserve better and create a generational love cycle. Remember, it starts with you. It starts with you first. No matter what, like my mother would say, you can't change grown folks, but you can be the role model. You can be the example. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourself.